think I mean, there's something to the idea that if you use a word very frequently, it'll begin to take on all kinds of connotations and so on. But I think there's a deeper issue. These words, like, say, democracy, and in fact just about every word that's used in political discourse, tend to have dual meanings. On the one hand, there's their literal meaning. On the other hand, there's the meaning that is used for what amounts to political warfare, propaganda, indoctrination, and so on. So take democracy. If you think about the meaning of the word, a country is democratic. There are many dimensions to democracy, but one of them certainly is that public opinion is reflected to some extent in public policy. To the extent that that's true, the country is more democratic. But that is certainly not the operative sense of the term democracy. So, for example, the United States is hailed as a leading democracy, but there's always a significant gap between public opinion and policy, and now it's a total chasm. We could run through the details, but public policy is almost divorced from public opinion. And the reasons for that have to do with the mechanisms by which the nature of the government is determined and the constraints in which it functions, which reflect very substantially the distribution of power inside the society. So there's a very high concentration of economic power, and that feeds directly to political decision-making by all sorts of means, and it tends to drive policy towards the interests of the very rich and not those of the vast majority. And you see it, I mean, it's right on the front pages every day. So, for example, there's a deficit. Obama had a deficit commission. He didn't have a jobs commission. For the public, the major economic problem we face is joblessness. For the financial institutions, the major problem is the deficit. So therefore, within the Beltway, the focus is on the deficit. A couple of side comments on jobs here and there, which are very misleading. Exact opposite of what the public wants. If you take a look at the deficit, which for the public, rightly, I think, is a minor problem, the public has opinions on how to deal with the deficit, namely increase taxation on the very rich to the level where it was when we had a fast-growing economy, and preserve benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. Policy is almost the exact opposite.